We're gonna do the little whoever picked the right number of bales on that last field. We're gonna do that at the end of this video because I didn't time that out really good, and I just got that video uploading like an hour ago, so it's hard to do that when there's no comments and no video yet. So that's what's going on there. In, down, down, down. So anyhow, pitter patter, and we'll talk more later. this field didn't turn out too terrible. I'd say it's gonna make more per acre than that last field we were just at. This is actually, if I'd have known I was gonna end up with it and I could have showed it to you in the spring, this is actually a really nice field. It's orchard grass, timothy, and alfalfa. Really, really nice. It's probably 4 or 5 years old maybe. But this field isn't suffering from lack of maintenance. This field, like every other crop around here at the current time, is suffering from lack of water. And the fact that the whole field is basically 2 hills. You get down there in the low ground, you can see where the windrows get heavier. That's all double raked. Everything up here on this hill is anywhere between 5 and 6 rounds put together, and then the same thing on the back hill. But like I say, it's not because it's bad hay, it's because it's dry. So, but the whole reason I ended up with this was because the guy that was originally supposed to do it, who I'm friends with, he just got to the point where he's basically bitten off as much as he could chew. So he couldn't get it done. And then they had another guy come in. He cut it. It lay here for 2 weeks, got rained down a couple times before it finally got baled, so they asked me to come give it a shot. So, but it's nice hay. It's another one. I'm gonna bale it and drop it, and they're gonna pick it up. So, but anyhow, on to my stuff finally. And then there was one. I probably could have tripled this, but I just doubled it. There was still some green in it, and I didn't want to rope the windrows and end up having spots that didn't want to dry out. So and then luckily it didn't affect it, but I noticed last time, and I'm wondering if it affected some of this here because this is kind of short. The ding-a-ling that farms this must have sprayed when there was a high wind, and that wind must have been blowing right down this right away, and from the edge of the field damn near all the way to the tower, everything was singed. I was worried it wasn't going to come out of it, but it did. But that's why you don't spray in a high wind, people. So anyhow, let's go get Shelly's mom's taken care of, and that'll be a day. right, that's it for Raking. This field is, I'll tell you what, I am really excited to see what that other field does that I have, that one we just got done raking. Because this grass mix really comes into its own in year number 2. I tell you what, this stuff, I mean, this is just double raked, and I bet these windrows, they're probably not quite as big as second cutting, but I bet they're pretty darn close. I mean, the color is just, I just love making nice green hay. This stuff is, I love it. I'm curious to see how many bales that come off of it. I'll have to go back and look and see how many came off of it for second cutting, but I bet we're in the ballpark of about the same number. So I double raked it for second too, I think, or did I single it? I know I singled it for first cutting. Anyhow, doesn't matter. And I didn't think she'd actually do it because I told her jokingly, but Shelly's mom brought the lawnmower up and finished up that strip that I broke the mower on. So we got the whole thing raked. So that's nice. Don't have that spot to go around. So anyhow, tomorrow we will get everything baled up, and that'll be the end of the 2023 hay season. So we will, I think the video from yesterday finally uploaded a minute ago, so oh wow, 22 comments already. Oh yeah, everybody's getting in on this. Oh, there's some people getting really damn close too. So anyhow, with that being said, we will catch you guys tomorrow with the baler. I'm gonna get this thing home before I run out of daylight. All right, we're back to baling hay. I brought twine with me because I'm gonna have to put 2 more balls in before this is all done, but I ended up with 2 parcels in there when I was trying to diagnose nodder issues, and now one's almost out, but there's still enough in there I didn't just want to cut the rest of it out, so we got to do that. I'm gonna set this right here. So let me get the baler unfolded here and set up and ready to go, and we'll start punching them out. far, she's only missed 2 knots, and that was because it missed the twine changeover. I got another one fixing to happen about here in one more bale, so I guess we'll see if she makes that one. Wasn't even my knot slipping, it was whatever's going on here inside the twine ball. Interesting. Okay, and we're on to my hay. They were out there picking that field up when I got done, so we weren't gonna do anything else out there. I lost count of how many misties I had because it did. After I fixed it the time I showed you, it did one more thing where there was a dang knot tied in that ball of twine. So I lost count of how many I had to fix. I think it was 7 or 8. But anyway, there was like 39 or 40 bales out there ish. So, well, like I say, that field's biggest issue. I'm not saying it doesn't need a little bit of fertilizer, but that field's biggest issue was those hillsides and this lack of rain we've had. And first cutting probably being taken off so late didn't help either, but okay, last cutting off of a fresh seeding with kind of in the middle of a drought. I'm gonna guess 20. I didn't miss a single bale. Let's see here, 23. I'll be damned. So we're at doing a little bit better on a freshly seeded hay field than they are on 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old hay fields. I'm pretty sure that one that we were just at, if I remember right, that field's about five years old, and then that first one that didn't do squat, that one's 2. But anyhow, I'm gonna get folded up here. We got to get Shelly's mom's done, and then we got to get these things picked up. So I'm running out of daylight. did we end up with? That's basically a whole bale. It was like one flake away from being 20 even. So basically double per acre everything else we've been running so far. I will take that. And it is some really nice hay, like beautiful. So anyhow, it's 7:25, and that means I've only got about 45 minutes of daylight left, and I don't even have the truck hooked up to the trailer yet. So I gotta get going. We'll catch you guys here after a bit. All right, we're back in the barn. It's a little after 9 o'clock now. All the hay's up off the field, put in the barn. It's no longer my problem. My stuff, I'm really happy with how it turned out. If we'd had a little bit more rain, it probably would have been a little bit more quantity, but the quality of it, perfect. I was really happy with it. Ended up with 43 bales off of 3 acres. So, like I say, we'd probably had more rain, and if that bigger, the 2 acre piece, if that could have made 20 bales an acre, we would have had 60. So, but that field, I'm really hoping to see what it, or really excited to see what it turns into next year. If and when we finally do get some rain in the forecast, I'm gonna go through and give them another shot of fertilizer to get them through the winter. But I ain't gonna waste my time or money until we get some rain in the forecast, because I'm going to put down some nitrogen and I don't want it to go away. So then that second custom piece I was doing that we baled in this video, same thing. I gotta get when I fertilize my stuff, I'm gonna fertilize that, because that field's mine now, for sure. And I think I'm gonna see what they want to do, because I think I explained part of this already. I get all of first cutting and all of third cutting off of it. They just want part of second cutting. So they didn't say if they wanted all of it or part of it. But depending on whether or not they want all of it or part of it, or just see how things work out. Because I'm going to probably, with what I get off of first and third cutting, I'm definitely getting the better end of the deal on it. And I don't have to pay rent on it. It's just, I get it if I maintain it. I think I'm going to see if, I have to see what it ends up making on second cutting, if it works out to be fair or not. I'm thinking I'm going to make the offer to them that if they will pay for at least half of the fertilizer, and I got to figure out how many acres it is too, because that field's shrunk over the years. But figure out how much it's going to cost to fertilize it, and see if they would either do halves, depending on how it works out per bale and whatnot, to make it fair to them and fair to me. Either say if they do half on the fertilizer, or if it makes sense, if they pay for all the fertilizer, I'll just make second cutting for them and not charge them for the hay, or for the baling. We'll just work it out in the fertilizer, and I think that would probably be a fair deal. They gave me, I just told them $250 flat rate for this cutting, and she didn't bat an eye. She walked up and handed me cash right there in the field. So no muss, no fuss. That was very easy people to work with so far. So hopefully it stays that way. And there's a weedy, if I'm sure you noticed it in the video, there's a weed patch in the back. That's actually hay. It was planted to hay, but that spot gets wet, and I'm guessing when they took the last cutting off, it was too wet for them to mow it, so they just left it, and it grew up to what it is. And I knew since this stuff was going to horses, that's not good horse hay back there, so I just left it. I will probably go back there and brush hog it just so we can start fresh. And actually knowing that it can get wet sometimes, and since it butts right up to the field, that's my corn back there in that corner. Since it butts right up to that, I might just talk to the guy and say, hey, this is kind of a wet hole back here. Doesn't really bode well for making hay, because if it's standing full, or if it's got water, or if it's too wet, you can't mow it anyhow. Might just see if he'll let me row crop it, because it's probably close to an acre back there. And like I say, since it butts right up to what I already farm, just make it part of that field. And then I can, if I can get that little bit of row crop off of it too, that just sweetens the deal for me. So I'm going to see if he'll go for that. But that field used to be probably close to 10 acres. Because it was all field before. That modular, first they built that modular house, and that took out that chunk. And then the guy that built the house, a guy bought a chunk of property that butts up to the back of it, and he wanted road access. So there's a sliver that you saw that I didn't mow that was some really nice looking alfalfa grass mix hay on like the roadside, on the side of the field up by the road. That patch used to be part of it. There's about an acre there, and they sold that sliver off to give the guy that bought the property behind him road access. And then he built that barn, so that field keeps getting shrunk. But it should be the size it is now, should be the size it's going to be for the foreseeable future. So that's where that field's at. And then I guess the last thing we've got to do is our who guessed the right number of bales off the last video. Now that it's been long enough, and this is as of 9:15 at night on what is today? September 13th. We are currently at 127 comments on that video, and I can go here, and nope, wrong button. I can go here, and I can go here, and I can type this in to sort by keyword, which is going to be that, and we have 5 people that have guessed correct. The final number on that field, 32 bales even. It had like 3 flakes starting the next bale, so we're not going to count that. So 32 bales off of 4 acres on a 2-year-old stand. And our correct answers are in order of who commented first. Keith Sizemore, Vintage Farm 1086, Heritage Hatchery, Cronkus 36 Outdoors, and Joey Mortensen. It's hard to read names when they're all one word. Joey Mortensen. So those are the 5 that guessed correctly. There were a lot of people that were 31 and 33, but those were the only 5 that actually guessed 32. So, and I was a little, I'm just going to say I was pissed when I got done with that field. We'll do a quick story time here, and we'll try to wrap this up, because I know people don't like the talking parts. But got done with the field, 32 bales, 4 acres. Last time when I got, what did I get last time? 130 something bales off of it when I took the first cutting off of it. Still not great for a 4-acre field. But I charged her $250 flat, because I was good. Custom baling, I was going to charge her $1 a bale. If I made over 250 bales, I knew I wasn't going to get 250 bales off it, but I said, we'll do a deal. If I get 250 bales or more, it's $1 a bale. Anything lower than that, it's a flat rate of $250. Okay, that cutting, perfectly fine. Get to this one, 32 bales. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to charge her 250 bucks. That's a little steep for 32 bales. It's not my fault. It's a shit hayfield, is what it is, but I'm still going to try to do it right. So I was like, okay, we'll do 175 bucks on here. I got, with breakdowns on the mower and having to drive back and forth for parts, and then the one breakdown on the baler, and between mowing, raking, and baling, I basically had like 6.5 hours down there. It should have only been about 4.5 because I can mow that in 2 hours, but you got time back and forth chasing parts and stuff to get up and going again. So I figured, okay, 6 hours, I got twine, I got fuel, it's just, I figured 175 bucks was actually probably cheap. Yeah, it was only 32 bales, but you still got, it takes the same amount of time to mow it and rake it, it just takes less time to bale it. So, okay, 175 bucks. She says, okay. I get home. About 15 minutes later, by the time I drive back from the field, I have a text message. Hey, just checking to make sure I heard you right. How much did you say it was? And I said $175. She's like, what? Hold on, I want to get this right, because I went from perfectly fine to instantly pissed. I misunderstood. My husband heard that and I heard $75. I still want to make it right with you without insulting you, but that's almost $5.50 a bale. Okay, well, if you're going to go buy hay right now, you're going to be at between like $7 and $8 a bale, if not more. Could you come down some? Oh, I was hot. I went from 0 to 100 in the span of like that. It's like, okay, if that's so expensive, how about you go out, you buy a tractor, buy a mower, buy a rake, buy a baler, you put in the time and you do it yourself and see how much that shit costs, whether you make 32 bales or 3,200. So I caved just because I wanted it over with. I said, okay, 150 bucks. Give me 150 bucks. Didn't hear nothing back from her. She finally texted me today while I went right after I started bailing out here, and she said, okay, when can I bring you your money? So, and then to top it off, I thought that I was going to get that field for next year for me personally to farm. And now it sounds like that might not even happen, so we'll see how that turns out. But I swear, if she asks me to try to make it again next year, I'm gonna tell her to pound sand. Not doing that again. No way. So yeah, horse people. I tell you what. When they're buying hay, they want the highest quality hay you have, but they want it for nothing. And if you're making hay for them, they don't want to pay you nothing for the custom work. Freaking horse people, man. I tell you what. That was half the reason I never wanted to go into hay, was because of horse people. And that's most of the market, because most people that raise cows make their own hay. But cow people are easy to deal with on hay. At least the ones I've ever dealt with. It's only the freaking horse people. I got myself worked up a little bit again, but anyway. So, with that being said, just to kind of get you to where things are going to be shifting here, because this channel is a story and every video builds on, and you got to watch everything in order to keep up with what's going on. This weekend, kind of halfway taking the weekend off, I got invited to a Steel Woods concert up in Flint, Michigan. Not too excited about going to the great old metropolis of Flint because it's a slum, but I am excited to see the Steel Woods because this is their farewell tour, and after November, can't remember what the day is, their last concert is down in Nashville at the Ryman Auditorium in November, and then the band's breaking up, unfortunately, which sucks because I love them. But so Shelly and I are going to do that tomorrow night. So that's going to shoot basically tomorrow afternoon completely and Sunday morning, because we're going to stay up there and drive home Sunday morning. So this weekend is pretty much shot, but I'm ready for a break, because I haven't had one since we went to Iowa. And then this coming week, I got some chores. I got some stuff I got to do that I promised some people I was going to do back at the beginning of summer, and now that I finally got a little bit of downtime, I got to get some stuff done for some other people that I promised to get done. We have to get the grain truck serviced. I want to get the hay mower fixed before it gets put away. That way it's not broke. Tomorrow morning before we leave, I'm shuffling equipment, and I got to get the 1800 home. The 77's got to get home. All the hay equipment's got to get put back in here. This has got to go back in its spot in the barn. There was something else I had to get done this week. Anyhow, we're basically in coast mode until things start hitting and we're ready to start running. There's been guys cutting beans around here for about a week now, but it's all been south of the state line on the sand ground, and they're cutting beans because the beans died, not because they hit maturity. So I got some stuff that's probably about 2 weeks out, maybe. But it's weird. There's stuff around here that's completely 100% dead, fully senesced, and then there's stuff that is almost grass green yet. It's weird, but is what it is. So I think that's got everybody up to speed. Hay's done. Hay is out of the way. That project is over. I think I've done enough talking here. So with that being said, that is it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.